Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Project Remix Reviewing with your host, Gyoza Planet. You may not recognize my little avatar. That is because it is a new one that I have handmade. It's a little robot version of me, and hopefully it's a bit more de- depictive than the old little flashing Gyoza symbol. But yeah. Anyways, as for today's footage, we have the teams THK, those who know, versus the team IHID. I hate iDog, I believe is the abbreviation, or what IHID stands for. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. This is a review that has been requested by a member of the team, specifically one of the Fists players, Fist slash Banhammers. I suspect they're the tank. And they're actually a substitute. Normally they play on EPE, aka EP Paint Eaters, but because that team is currently on hiatus, they decided to sub in for another team, and yeah, it'll be an interesting game. Okay, so we're starting out. Announcers have gotten to the action a bit late. So far, oh right, this is so a funny thing here is they had accidentally um the they had accidentally set the teams wrong, so they were all technically like showing as the same team. They could fight each other, but they were showing as the same. Anyways, so I believe it is if we rewind a bit, we shall see. Yeah. So right now we have red team on the point. We have fists. Oh right now. Okay. So, all right. So this person right here, this person in the shorts is the person who has been requested to be reviewed, so I'll be putting more focus on them as this goes along. But so far, let's see the point. Which means that, okay, so blue team is going to be I Hate iDog, red team is going to be, those who know. Alrighty, so far from what I'm seeing, this is currently going in the favor of, those who know. I suspect this is partly because of the team confusion. If not, it's also because they got a better hold on the point. It looks like they have a laser scythe and a banhammer, but let's see what else they have. I think they also have a staff of life, and someone running time bomb, which means that's they got a paint bucket. Okay, interesting. So this is a kind of like varied comp, I suppose, is a good way to put it. It doesn't really specialize on everything. They kind of have multiple roles. So you have the laser scythe. It depends on what the laser scythe is using. If the laser scythe is using just the standard or the bonus heal M2, then it's like an assassin build. If you're using energy whirl, it's a more tank build. But so far from saying, they have the they have their banhammer slash future fist player as the main tank. They have a staff of life for healing. They have a paint bucket for area control and for group damage. They have the laser scythe. I'm not sure what version it is yet. And then I don't know what the fifth weapon is, but we'll probably see it pop up in the kill feed sometime soon. Okay. So far, red has red has a shotgun. Let's see, shotgun, lightning wand. Interesting. Banhammer goes for a very ambitious thing here. So here, red, actually, hold on. What happens here? Because blue has the advantage here. Oh, I see they got peeled off. So one of the red members goes down, but lets another one sneak in, which gives a chance for the Banhammer to slam in. We don't see it here, but they're fighting on point, and they manage to get one of them away and get a kill, but the shotgun runs in and distracts the Banhammer and the Soul for long enough for the lightning wand to go over there, and as you can see, the lightning wand is doing cleanup on their team. And yeah, so it takes down the two members. It does look like it's normal energy scythe. Yeah. Banhammer goes for a very ambitious slam here, tries to take out the person using purifying prayer, I believe is what that is. Unfortunately, they get taken down because of too many people. I mean, I suspect this was because this might have been because of panic, or simply because they thought they had more allies around them. Or simply because they thought it was the best decision. If the laser scythe was able to double up with them and had actually like gone in and gotten that person, they might have been able to secure the kill, but not quite. Okay, interesting. So they have Lightning Wand, Banhammer, or Barrier Shield, Banhammer, Atmos, Shotgun, which means that I believe those who know, which is red team, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I think I'm getting the colors mixed up. Whatever point is. So red team currently has a very like burst damage focused comp. From what I'm seeing so far, the L wand is used to start fights, like get opening damage, use the cloud to force people off the point or away from each other, and then you have the shotgun do shotgun does cleanup work. It goes over and chases down the isolated people, and then you have the Atmos for group healing and also for additional damage against low health or targets that are running away. Okay, Laser Scythe going back in, they managed to get a full heal, and they've got the Staff of Life helping them a bit. They managed to get another kill. Alrighty, let's see. Staff of Life player, very hard to hit. That is wall hops. The power of wall hops, which I actually will be making a video about sometime in the near future. So stay tuned for that. But let's see. So far, okay, interesting. So far, this is really just a big game of like back and forth. It's a lot more even than other matches I have reviewed in the past, I would say, because there's consistently, let's say, there's usually 3 people. It's 3 people on the point, 3 people attacking the point. One dies from one dies from another. And then so like, let's say it's 3 red, 3 blue. 2 of the reds die, 1 of the blues dies. The last red like backs up or uses like a stall option. They get 2 more people on the point. They take out the last blue member. The last blue member trades. So it's back to 2 versus 1. Then they have their allies walk in. It's very back and forth, which isn't something we've seen much. Usually it's just full clears for either the people rushing the point or for the people who die or for the people who are defending. Interesting. They've got a generals. I see. Okay. Yeah, so this is, so far, this team, blue team, has a very generalized team comp. It's like, they don't really specialize in everything, but it's just kind of like, they're good at most things. They've got the laser scythe for flanking. They've got the generals for area control and just general damage. They've got the paint bucket for actual area control and the group damage. They've got the banhammer for tanking purposes and also defending the point, and they've got the Staff of Life for healing, which is pretty good. I don't know if Staff of Life is the best option. What else could you run? You could run normal Atmos and get pretty good success with that, because Staff of Life here, none of these, well, Laser Scythe is the exception. It gets healing from its M2, and I suspect that the person using it is decently skilled with their M2, so they're not just bleeding health. But the thing is that the generals player is going to need healing, especially if they end up in a mid-range or short-range duel. Tank, definitely going to need healing. Paint bucket, absolutely going to need healing because it's squishy and it needs to be in the front lines, which means that you have 3 weapons. You have 3 people that need healing with a 1-person focused weapon. Now, it can do this, but Staff of Life really works well when you have 1 person who needs healing, or you have someone else who can do kind of like group healing or like topping up health and everything, and you have the Staff of Life to just like, it sticks on the mid-range player, it sticks on the flank player, etc, etc. So I suspect that blue team is going to have some problems with that later on in regards to not being able to have everybody healed up. As for red, I'm still not 100% sure what they have on their team. Okay, so we got 1 person who goes down on blue. Red has taken over the point here. Yeah, as you can see, that laser scythe is it's exactly what I was talking about. Is that it's dashing in, getting kills, dashing out. Interesting. Okay, blue's doing good so far. But yeah, this is very back and forth. This is a very balanced match. It's actually refreshing to see because absolute stomps are less than fun. Oh, okay. Hold on. I think this is actually, ironically enough, exactly what I was talking about here. So, we see that red is trying to take over the point again. You have the banhammer tries to go for this target here, and then you have the paint bucket and the laser scythe teaming up in the Atmos. They managed to take down the Atmos because whoever this Atmos player is, I know I suspect they're using. I think they're using purifying prayer, and it is to get more healing. Usually, purifying prayer does not work well on Atmos because of its lack of mobility, lack of damage output, zero synergies with any kind of movement ability, like stuff like that. Also because Atmos is squishy. Um, Yet again, it can't defend itself at close range. But like, hold on, what was this Atmos player doing? Okay, so you have Lightning Wand, kind of doing their own thing. Lightning Wand gets run away, gets gunned. You have the Atmos player. Oh, they get cornered, and then their back flight is, yeah. Okay. Honestly, the best thing you could do there is kind of, this is specifically for the Atmos player. The best thing that they could do there is try and run away, try and get inside here and then back up. It's going to force the rest of red team or the rest of blue to chase you down here. And then you can have your red teammates cut them off and deal damage to them as they chase you. You're probably still going to die, but you're going to guarantee the kill of at least one, if not two, if not three, if depending on the weapons your teammates have, kills on the blue members. So sometimes, and you probably went for the Purifying Prayer to get some bonus healing, either to not die or to heal your teammates, but sometimes just running away and acting as bait is best option here. So, as you can see here, Paint Bucket gets a nice kill and everything, but their tank goes down. And you want to know why the tank goes down? Because, this, as you can see here, it's a tank versus tank duel. Shotgun is doing work, and as you can see, the Staff of Life is focused on making sure that the Laser Scythe and the Paint Bucket are healed up as they go for the Atmos, which means that the tank gets no healing. And this is what I was talking about earlier, is that the problem with Staff of Life is that you can only heal one target at a time, so you either have to have weapons that have self-sustain, which is like, there's the conventional weapons, so stuff like Lifesteal, for example. Lightning Wand has Lifesteal, Equinox Blades has Lifesteal, stuff like that. So either that, very evasive weapons, so stuff like Katana, not Katana because that self-heals, but like Linked Sword is a good one, Shotgun is a good one, stuff like that. Usually these are fast flank weapons that have to build their loadouts to take that into account, so they have self-heal options, they have escape options, everything, so you don't really need to dedicate your attention to them because they already have their own stuff sorted out. And in that case, then yeah, Staff of Life is pretty good because you only need to really focus on your main tank, for example. Unfortunately, almost none of these weapons, except for Laser Scythe, are that in Blue's team. They're all weapons that need support, which means that when you go to support them, yeah, it doesn't really work out. Now, I'm pretty sure, okay. They pull out Airstrike. It takes out nobody, but it does force them to pop Faye, which is, I mean, it's actually a pretty decent trade. Well, I mean, it's an alright trade, I suppose. Red is out of a barrier shield here. And yeah, as you can see here, this is actually an extension of what I was talking about, is that because they're running Staff of Life, Blue's members are slowly losing health over time from the various members of Red Team. And actually, hold on. I think Red has the advantage here, because as I mentioned earlier, Red specializes, or like they're built around like burst damage from Lightning Wand, from Shock and everything. And that works really, really well with the setup that, or that works really well against Blue's setup, because, yet again, they only have one healer, and the rest of their weapons don't really have much defensive capabilities, or, like, they don't have built-in defensive capabilities, built-in healing, or built-in movement. Yet again, this is not counting Laser Scythe. Laser Scythe has all three of those. But yeah, as you can see here, this is actually exactly what's happening. Is I'm going to rewind here and I'm going to point them out. So this is kind of just neutral fighting. The Faye ultimate means nobody on Blue is really going to die. But also Faye doesn't boost damage or anything, so nobody on Red is really going to die. But as you can see here, so Red backs up. They get a bit of damage on the person using Faye, right here. And then this guy is also hurt. So we've got two injured Blue members here. Willow goes, chases down. I'm pretty sure that was one of the injured people, so that's good. And the other healed person is fine. They get dunked by the shotgun, and they heal up. But now everybody's separated. And so Frisbee, which I think is their Staff of Life, gets isolated, and and Willow, as well as the tank now, is hurt, and the tank is getting chased by their other tank, which means that actually, hold on, this goes by really fast. I'm sorry, I really want to illustrate the point here because it is a very good example of why a team comp is so important. So let's see. So lightning wand here throws down the zap thing, which is probably why I suspect this blue member died. The tank here is gonna die. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, they're gonna die to shotgun. Yep, and then Willow is going to die very quickly, I believe. And then the Generals player is getting chased. They're pretty much, yeah, they're dead. And then Willow, still alive. Yet again, Laser Scythe has that amazing ability to just not die. But they still get picked off. And as you can see here, pretty much all of Red is still alive. And not only are they alive, but they've taken fantastic positions here. They have high ground here, they have high ground here, and they still have the roofs so they can stand here. They have one person on point, and they have one of their tanks approaching point, which means that right now Red has a major advantage, and they also just got a kill. Whoa, okay, the lightning wand is lagging out a bit, unfortunate. Okay, so Blue's gonna try and break onto the points here, but as you can see, the Staff of Life is trying to manage healing multiple people all the time. Another unfortunate thing, this is Plates of Faith, which means there's a lot of general stuff in the way. There's pillars, there's roofs, there's glass tiles, there's the plates, everything, which means that, as you can see here, Paint Bucket goes down, and I highly suspect that if we keep an eye on the Staff of Life, which is this guy. So this guy in black, we're going to track him. He goes all the way back here. He's healing up their tank. And what do you know? As he's healing up the tank, he tries to heal up their other player here, and they die. And as he's healing up this player, as he's healing up Willow, the tank dies. And now I suspect... I have just reset the footage. Okay, hold on. Twitch. Okay, hold on. Okay, this is the earlier fight. Okay, here we go. This is where we were. So yeah, the tank gets bursted down. Willow and Willow, then the Generals, and the Staff of Life are the only ones left alive. They're definitely putting up a fight, actually. Yeah, holy. But as you can see here, the Staff of Life is currently busy healing their Generals player, which means that if we keep an eye on the left here, I suspect that the tank or the player all the way over here, yep, the Paint Bucket is now half health, and Paint Bucket gets the kill, so they get some healing over time. But if there was a second player there trying to help the person that the Paint Bucket was chasing, Paint Bucket would be dead. Yeah. No, Blue's making a solid comeback here. I think it's mainly because they managed to isolate most of Red's members, and I think they have just slightly better capabilities. They're also playing closer to each other. But yeah, Staff of Life goes down. Or no, that's not Staff of Life. That is the Lightning Wand. But actually, hold on. I think this Lightning Wand's... Okay, actually no, it's either Lightning Wand or Paint Bucket. Yeah. Paint Bucket is hurt, and Staff of Life. Staff of Life is currently busy... Where is the Staff of Life? They are not here. They are... Oh, they were dead. Oh, okay then. Well, yeah, no, yeah, it's kind of hard to get healing from dead people. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, okay. Red definitely has the advantage here. Alright. They're back on point here. Yeah, so Staff of Life busy healing the Generals player, which means that... Okay, no. Alrighty. Wait. Okay, who is the Atmos player? Because they keep dying, and they're in positions where they shouldn't be as Atmos. Even more so with Atmos's, with the Mending V2, which I'm pretty sure I saw them use. So, I can't read the name. Okay. If you are the Atmos player in this footage, I can give you some advice on how to play Atmos. I play Atmos, and I've also reviewed several other Atmos players. So, yeah. In general, usually with Atmos, yet again, it doesn't really have many defensive tools, which means you want to leverage the one thing that you do have for free, which is positioning, which means take this rooftop. Now, bad news, in this lobby, you are fighting a General's 45. High damage revolver that absolutely shreds anybody who tries to play on high ground and stuff like that. Luckily, the General's player is currently busy dying, which means that you would have free reign to maybe not heal this guy, but you could definitely be healing your tanks on point. Or you could throw on the M2, hit all of you, and then just go and heal progressively. Or alternatively, you could also be standing up here on this walkway here, which gives you a little bit more leeway, and you can just kind of fire down at people with M1, and you can also use M2. It also gives you a couple of escape options because you can just you can jump down over here. You can jump down and then wall hop sideways. You can. I'm pretty sure they have flight, which means you can just fly over here, or you can just fly over here to try and get distance and everything. Usually, as Atmos, generally you want to be playing on like high ground or places where it's hard for people to get to you. So I suppose the first point. So these are just a couple of points about what I've talked about. Is that Staff of Life struggles hard when enemy has a burst / high damage comp, which they do. Red's comp is mostly high damage output weapons comp, or when paired with no sustain / defensive tool weapons. So this is what I was talking about the entirety of earlier. Is that if you had a lightning wand on your team, if you had like a Super Bowl, for example, Super Bowl doesn't seem like it, but the days that the M2 has shuts down a lot of attackers because it's a very long days. It deals a lot of damage. It also means that the next 1 or 2 shots from the Super Bowl deal bonus damage against target, which means that usually as Super Bowl, if they can hit their M2s, do not struggle against flankers much. It obviously depends. Like, versus a katana, you're going to have a miserable time. Almost every weapon has a miserable time against katana. But against most things, like most weapons, Super Bowl does fine. So that would be an example of a weapon that it would pair decently with. Yet again, Lightning Wand, as I said, hold on. Laser Scythe is a good pick because they can kind of be doing their own thing, which means that for you, the Staff of Life player specifically, you should probably be focused on like your priority should not be healing the Laser Scythe person. If you see them, they are low health, and them getting health would mean that they survive and or get a kill. Then yes, you can go and heal them, and it's probably best if you do heal them. But if they're just kind of like 75% health, they're not in immediate danger, they're kind of just flanking or on the outskirts of a fight, go and focus on healing someone else. Either the build they have or the weapon's M2 ability. Either the loadout they have built around the weapon, or the weapon and the way it's designed will give them enough health to be more than okay and win whatever fight they take. Second thing here, which is Atmos benefits highly from elevated isolated positions, which is aka high ground. High ground. You should rare be at the front of a fight as Atmos. As I said before, Atmos compared to, like, let's say laser finger pointers has its push, has a high damage output, which it's like quite high for a support weapon, but it also has the push laser, which obviously it's a limited resource, but still the fact, like, if you're accurate enough with it, you can still infinitely stall someone out, and it's also just naturally a It's a not flashy weapon, because there aren't many very visual effects. Like there's a laser obviously, but the laser is tiny. If the user is using like B small or something, they're not very noticeable. LFP is a weapon that can frontline to a small degree. Usually it can be like in the middle of a team, so like behind the tank, but like at the same spot as where like a 8-bit might play. So for a visual example here, like let's say this front line is the tank. This is where your tank will play. Shotgun will play. Like other melee weapons might play. This is the mid line. This is where Super Bowl 8-bit play. This is where like a slingshot might play. This is where like a ninja whip might play, depending on the build a ninja whip has. And then this is the backline. This is where generals play. This is where PBG plays. This is where most supports should be playing and everything. Now, LFP is lucky in that it can actually play. Like usually you want to be down here in the backline and everything, but if you know what you're doing and you have a good team, like a good team composition, you can actually play in this middle line section with minimal issue, or like with some issue obviously because you're still a support weapon, but you can do quite well with it and everything. Atmos is not an LFP. Atmos absolutely needs okay, I pretend I'm just gonna write AT because I can't spell the word. Pretend that this is the backline here and everything. Atmos really needs to stick here with the original version, so like nothing modded, especially since the your healing M2 is infinite range. It's the only infinite range healing ability in the game. I think I could be wrong with that, but it's 80 burst healing plus any future damage you deal with the lasers, which is a lot of damage. It's a lot of healing. It's 80 healing plus 40 healing per laser burst, which is substantial, and that doesn't count. That's not counting if you chain multiple M2 bursts together. So you might as well take advantage of the very high range from the M2 and play back here. Now, obviously, you have some damage fall off, so you don't want to play. Like, playing back here is a terrible idea for pretty much every single weapon in the game. You don't want to be like 200 studs away from the enemy, but you want to be like a distant studs away. Like it should take the enemy without movement abilities. It should take the enemy, I suppose. Like if this is like to kind of explain it, it should take the enemy approximately 1 second to get to your front line, 3 seconds. Hold on. 3 seconds to get to your middle line, and then 5+ seconds to get to your back line. If your enemy can get to you within less than 5 seconds, and this is like without movement abilities, everything. So, because if they like grappling hook towards you or Icarus towards you or something like that, okay, yeah, it kind of changes things. But if they're 5 seconds walking more or less away from you, you're good. If you're any closer than that, well, Atmos, something's up. Now, obviously, this is not definitive. This is just how I see it, how I've seen teams play and everything, but generally that's where you want to be. So, Atmos, stick to high ground. Okay, next up. So far, this is yet again, it's a very solid match. It's like almost completely 1-for-1 here. They just keep trading kills. Red does have the advantage here. They have their tank on point. And then they have the lightning wand, which is going to... lightning wand is actually really devious here because as long as Stormcloud doesn't die... thank you, whoever's controlling the camera for doing that, because that was... okay, point is, lightning wand gets a really big buff here, especially near the end of the game, because blue needs to get onto the point to score points to win the match. And Lightning Wand can shut that down pretty easily, not just because it's an explosive weapon, but because the Storm Cloud zaps people, and the closer people play to each other, the more they get zapped, and this is a very tight contained area where multiple people are going to be on the point, aka Lightning Cloud's ideal environment. Now, obviously, blue is either intentionally or not, they're playing around this, and they're not letting this happen. They're playing a split up in a ways, but like we'll most likely see here in a moment or so, Lightning Cloud getting some value. Keywords, maybe. But, okay. Red's repositioning, they've got the advantage here. Lightning takes the high ground. Oh, they went Staff of Life instead of Atmos, I think. Yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah, this Lightning Wand is playing very well. He's playing, actually, yet again, this is kind of what I was talking about with, like, the midline. Actually, both this Lightning Wand right here and this General's player are demonstrating what I'm talking about perfectly. This is the kind of middle. They are about 2-ish seconds from this middle line, everything, which is where they should be. They're at the midline of their team's composition, which is very good. It's glad to see players like understanding that no, you cannot face tank with a General's 45. Point is, oh right, I was supposed to right. So far, this is a pretty good thing. Red is popping all of their ultimates to yeah, or no, it was blue saved the airstrike to get massive damage here. I suspect. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah. The paint bucket here, I suspect, kind of complicated things. So you can see a couple people are painted here. They pop a hyper laser. Okay, no, it was mostly just chaining ultimates. Okay, I thought they had done a cool thing with paint bucket. Not quite. But yeah, overall, this is a very, very, very close game. I suspect the future games will also be very close. Because this is just how the teams are so far. At the moment, I think, I don't know. Statistically, red has the advantage here going into blue's comp, or like blue's team build. However, I think blue has slightly more skilled players. As we can see from the tank so far, from what I saw, fantastic gameplay. Admittedly, tank died when they got cornered a couple times, but so far I haven't really commented on it because it's just been very good gameplay. There wasn't really much to call out about it or to comment, so for the tank player who requested this, good job, you're doing well. Maybe being a bit careful, I think being like a bit careful about where you go, because there were several times where you were caught out a bit, like away from your team, or you were like aggressing a bit more, like you were being aggressive when you had like an ally they need protecting. Maybe being a bit careful about that, but I didn't really see, like, if I saw like a POV video, it would probably help me see it a bit better. So, Laser Scythe, the Willow person, doing absolutely fantastic. Ninth, very good Generals player. I've unfortunately run into them before, and it's not a fun experience, let me tell you that, because they are annoyingly skilled. Yeah. Generals is a strong weapon. It gets even better when you have a very skilled opponent, aka ninth, and not necessarily coordinated teammates, aka every single person you run it, or 80% of people you'll run into in public lobbies. So, yeah, Generals kind of steamrolls there. But yeah, so far, it's going to be a very interesting, because this is very much just like how much does skill triumph over sheer statistics and like team composition. Okay. We're going to alrighty, we are back. So this is the next game. It is going to be TDM, I believe. It is we shall see here in a short moment. Okay, so it is TDM. This is a, I believe, private server exclusive map, because I've never seen or played on this map before. Looks cool. I suspect that is going to favor ranged weapons immensely, because for the many good things of Project Remix, cover to deal with ranged weapons is one of the things it does not have nearly enough of. But that's a tangent for a different day. Okay, so we're starting out here. We've got blue spawning in at the same place as red. It happens. Usually I recommend, and I found the best success with my team, is that you pick somewhere close to what would be the ideal spot, and then you just kind of like shift it a bit, so in case enemies do spawn on you, they don't spawn in the middle of you, so there's no overlap. But okay, yeah, so currently blue is pincered. They're being shot Oh god, they've got the shotgun behind him, and then okay. Oh, this is not good. Okay, so they trade. Ninth has gone paintball gun instead of generals, um, which will be interesting to see. Wow. Oh, he's using table. I see. Okay, hold on. I got distracted by Ninth. Okay, X gets caught out here. I would say in this position, just drop the barrier shield, slam over to the next, slam over to your teammates, and then pull up the shield again. Like, you might be able to save a bit of health, but otherwise you're just going to take too much damage. Willow gets cut down. I think they're running auto pistol. Okay, they are. So they're running auto pistol. Oh god. It's running auto pistol burst rifle. Okay, so it looks like Red has adapted, and to deal with blue only having one person, they've decided to go with a lot of ranged weaponry, which I think the commentator says in about a couple seconds. You're not going to hear it because I don't have the audio on. I do think it is actually a good decision because, yet again, Staff of Life struggles with constant pressure against multiple targets or multiple allies, and this is exactly what they have. They have auto pistol, which pressures close range target. They have burst rifle, which pressures medium to long range targets. They have the coach gun shotgun, which has which has very high movement, and also, whatchamacallit, and also pressures close range. So it's either to distract people for the auto pistol to do work, or to deal damage to people the auto pistol has distracted. Now X, they mentioned this here. X is trying to escape. I think he is running. Let's see. Okay, he goes for the slam here. Now they say that this slam right here is part of like him missing the slam is why his team dies here. I disagree. I do not think him missing the slam would actually did much. He might have been able to barrier shield his team, but then all three of them would have died. Like mainly the thing is that here, I do not know if Blue has realized they have coach gun shotgun yet. If they do, they should be playing much more carefully. So both of them get antied here. They're playing next to each other because this is like the only spot. Like in this area, this tiny little section right here is where you have to stand to deal damage to anybody over here, which leaves you very exposed to area of effect, damage, or abilities. Case in point, anti-heal potion. Which, yeah, that's unfortunate. And then here they get pincered. They get coach gun shotgun from behind, and so the coach gun goes for the support first, and then Ninth gets then Ninth gets killed. I don't really think X could have helped much. Maybe he could have like let's see. So let's say he had done that. Slam would still have been on cooldown here. He could have barrier shielded for his for the Staff of Life maybe, or he could have like maybe helped Ninth survive. But there's a good chance both of them just get shot in the back because Red Team just has so much mobility. So honestly, I don't think Ninth really affected much here. Like it would have been nice. Maybe he could have gotten the shotgun, maybe, but they just death balled and clumped up and got over to that side much too quickly for him to do much. Now, let's see. So Blue has an ET death. They have a PBG. So ET death, PBG, laser scythe, Staff of Life, and then Banhammer. It's a definitely interesting comp. ETD is actually a pretty good choice here to get around between the different high grounds, and also because of the very high mobility that you need to get around this map, either to get away or to chase people. And as you can see here, actually, Blue's kind of like general combat ability does help them a lot here. As you can see here, Red gets split up into a lot of 1v1s, and they just kind of fall apart. So let's see. So you have the auto pistol, tries to go for a kill here. Does not accomplish it. Hold on. Who is he fighting? Or who are they fighting? So, auto pistol runs in, tries to deal a ton of damage. Oh, they're fighting Ninth. Okay, that would explain why they took so much damage. And then the auto pistol kind of goes down, and then over there we have the tank going in and pairing with the laser scythe. And then we have Ninth who goes off and gets a kill on his own. So, honestly, from what I've seen so far, Red has gotten themselves a team with a very high, with very good, midline pressure, I suppose, would be kind of going back to my example of where I talked about of what I talked about before. It's very high midline pressure if they're able to pressure or catch X out of position, and they can just kind of go to town. Like they can just start drilling through him and then just cut down his teammates with their incredibly high amounts of damage. But their weapons can't really hold up in 1v1 fights. Also, this is not where you want to be with a burst rifle. Yet again, the front line, midline, backline explanation. This is really, really close to the enemies, especially when you know that they have a high mobility melee and a long range burst damage weapon, namely PBG. This still applies if he had generals, by the way. This is really, really bad position because you are extremely exposed. Now, obviously, the rest of the team is kind of moving to back him up, but it's still really, really bad spot. As you can see, he tries to go for a dive here. He gets cut off, and what do you know? This is the hold on. Actually, I think that was the burst rifle. If that's not the burst rifle, then ignore what I said. Hold on. I want to make sure this is actually the right person because I might be calling out the wrong person here. No, that is the burst rifle. Okay. Burst rifle here playing far too close to the enemy. They're trying to flank here. I understand why they did this. Not the right weapon. The auto pistol, who I think has respawned now, should be doing this. Either the auto pistol or the shotgun. So they jump down. They try to burst rifle here, or they try to thing here. But they're being chased by 9th, actually, which is, I suspect, why they jump down here. Because otherwise you can just hold that top position. You get free line of sight on enemies. So, burst rifle runs up. Okay so far. They are still much, much too close to the enemy. So, 9th spots them. No, they just jumped down because they felt like it. Okay. And now they're being chased, and they get picked off by the ET Death, I believe is who they die to. ET Death also dies because they get caught up by the enemy's team. But, yeah. Yeah, they were playing really, really close for burst rifle. Cameraman is on vacation, it seems. Yeah, Sheb gets caught out, which I believe that's the auto pistol. No, it's the burst. It's the coach gun shotgun here. Yeah, and now they're gonna drop airstrike. Fantastic move. Actually, it separates the team and also gets massive damage. Red Pop's aerial support. Pretty good decision, actually. Admittedly, unfortunately, the enemy has PBG and ET Death, which are high damage, not counters, but like, no, yeah, they are high damage counters to the aerial support, so it kind of just falls over and dies. And then Blue kind of just gets run down here. I think, actually, hold on, what happens here? So 9th tries to slam in and everything. And then he gets he gets hyper lasered. Okay, I see. So they burned 2 ultimates to guarantee kills. And then 9th trying his best here. Unfortunately, he gets caught out. Wait, he might have been able to wall jump away, but I don't know. And then, yeah. Okay. So Red is up 1 kill now. There's about half the match that has passed, I think. ET Death fighting for their life right now. They are caught out in the open, and yeah, they get run down here. I think it was mostly just unfortunate there. What in the world is this? Okay, so it looks like they have done a very interesting combination of the fact that you can stand on the Hilo and pairing it with Barrier Shield to get what is effectively an invincible thing. Which is very, very humorous until, like, this is really, really funny. I think they crash into the building. Yeah, they do, don't they? Yep. Unfortunate. Very funny. On a more open map, this would have been really, actually very, very clever. I hope they do this again, because that's really not a bad idea. But yeah, Red is kind of just doing their own thing inside this house. How... Ninth, please. Okay. Yet again, here's a demonstration of why paying attention to, whatchamacallit, like, on which 3 of your lines your weapon should be, Here we have Ninth playing PBG, which is technically a sniper. It's already we are back. Minor technical issues. Hold on, I have fast forwarded a bit. Okay, yeah. As I was saying, if you are playing a long range or medium range ish slow poke weapon, do not run into the building full of melee weapons and close range high damage output weapons, because you are just going to die unless you had something like, if he ran in there and used Scarlet Aeonia, it would be really funny and also very, very effective. But since he didn't, yeah, I really, really don't recommend that. Even if, so basically, it's mainly because there's like a 70% chance you die. There's in the 25% chance that you don't, that you get a kill, you're still going to die. And there's a 5% chance that you manage to get a kill and not die. But even then, because yet again, this all of this goes back to Staff of Life, you only have one healer on your team, and I don't know if there are health packs on this map, which means that you would be very low health, which means your healer has to spend time, or your support player has to spend time healing you, which is time they're not healing someone else, which given the enemy's comp which is a mix of mid-range pressure and close-range pressure, means that you're basically dooming your... So basically, by you going and getting that kill, you're either not getting the kill, trading a kill, or lining your team up to die in the future, because you're using more resources than your team can allocate. Now, they do manage to get a good kill here because a coach gun gets isolated. Banhammer goes for the ET death. So actually, this is something I will point out, is that yet again, if we're talking about the midline thing, like, actually, hold on. Okay, I'm not sure why the ET Death warped over here, because they had a perfectly good position back here. They were isolated, they had very good sight lines, they had a lot of cover, and an easy escape to their left, which makes me wonder why they ran down there. If you are the ET Death player, please let me know down in the comments below, because I would love to know the reasoning behind it, because it seems a bit odd to me, especially since it led to your death. Yeah, blue gets isolated here. They start... whoa, okay. Oh, lag spike. Unfortunate. They have to pop Face Circle. Ninth gets caught out here. Unfortunate. Yeah, this is just kind of one of the... So Ninth swapped back to... whatchamacallem. Ninth swapped back to Generals 45, and... Yeah, yet again, I don't think that's necessarily on them. I think they were in a pretty good position. They just got jumped by the shotgun. So, unfortunate, really. Not much you can necessarily do about it. ET Death in a fight to the death. Haha. Over there, they take down the burst rifle, and then you have a Ninth cleaning up the kill. Okay, hold on. Blue has a bit of an advantage here, actually. Willow is stuck, I think. Unfortunately. Hold on. How long has Willow been stuck there? I can't tell if Willow is memeing or not. If they are memeing, then haha, funny, probably not the best time to do it. If they are legitimately stuck, then that means they've been taking all these fights without their melee and without their flanker. This is a great kill, though. Very good use of remote airstrike, clears everybody out, and also separates people. Red response with a hyper laser. Manages to get 3 because hyper laser. Ninth tries to escape here and then just gets picked off. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Willow, but yeah. Okay, they might have just been memeing. This is not a necessarily serious game, so. Ninth gets caught out here again. Yeah. Okay, I will note something. Like I said before, actually, I had mentioned this at the end of the first game, but this is specifically for the tank player. You do tend to go for things like the slam right here, which leave your teammates vulnerable. Slam is a good idea and everything if you had people to back it to help you out. If not, honestly, the best thing you can do is just like either hold up barrier shield and just like hope that the rest of your team respawns next to you and everything, or you just wall jump away here, which means that you can go after their backline player here, but also forces them to move attention, and so they have to now ask themselves, are they going to chase down the like medium/low health tank, or are they going to go after Ninth? Most of the time, they're going to go after the tank because the tank is the bigger threat, which means that Ninth can get away if he feels like he needs to, or B, so either Ninth gets more kills, manages to get away, or can help defend you, and it means both of you live instead of both of you dying here. Which he almost gets away, but yeah, because you fell. Oh no, he does actually manage to get away. Okay. But still, there's he was 3 health from dying here. Yeah. Okay. I see. Hold on. Alrighty, so, Ninth goes down, tank goes down, Laser Scythe, finally back in the fight, welcome back. E.T. Death gets dunked, and then killed. Willow currently fighting for their life over on the beach, is being chased by multiple people here. Okay. So, extension of what I was saying earlier. This is, yet again, specifically for X. You've been playing well as tank. This right here, so this slam right here is where everything goes wrong. Your team is a lot of mid-range pressure. You have, or like, it's a mix of mid-range pressure and, now, because they stopped memeing, now a, like, high damage flanker, where specifically you have Ninth and Vezi on, Generals and ETD respectively. You have your support on Staff of Life, Willow on Laser Scythe, and then you on Tank, which means that more than half of your team's composition is, or I suppose, the highest damage parts of your team's composition are mid-range pressure options. And that means that what you should be doing here is that you should be playing around that, basically. Like, it is important to do what's known as playmaking, which is like make decisions as a tank. But you need to make those decisions, yet again, based off of what your team has. Slamming in, like this, is not a good idea, because, as you can see here, it forces Ninth to move up, which, that's really bad, because now that Ninth has to move up and get to the rest of your team, you're caught out, so you're out in the open in the middle of multiple people. Your teammates can't help you because, or I suppose, Banehammer is decent, but against large crowds it struggles, unless you manage to get a slam on all of them. You only got a slam on one. Willow, doing okay, but as you can see here earlier on, Willow actually wasn't here when you actually went for the massive slam. Willow was in the middle of, over here, they were trying to take down the tank. Which means that once you dove in here, you didn't actually have anybody who could, for example, help you secure this kill on this face circle person. And so, as you can see here, because so basically, because I'm kind of rambling here. So you run over here, you try and dive and everything. Face circle person has to chase you. The rest of your team has to also chase you. Actually, hold on. How did Vezi die? Okay, Vezi gets caught out. Unfortunate. Yeah, Vezi tries to warp away and then cuts out. Yeah, because you had the tank in your back line. So you dive up, you try and separate people. This is bad because, not great because you don't have anybody to help you secure the kills on the person running face circle. Ninth has to move up, which means that Ninth now gets flanked by the burst rifle. And now that the burst rifle is dead, actually, hold on. Okay, so face circle fell down around here, or the face circle, Staff of Life person was trying to help Ninth because they were low health, and remember, Staff of Life can only heal 1% at a time, or can really only focus on 1% at a time. So they tried to help Ninth, they died, which means they jump up here, and suddenly they now have 2 low health teammates. And they decided to heal Willow instead of you. They really should have tried to heal you, but you were most likely going to die anyways. And what that means is that, as you can see here, Vesti is most likely going to die here. They get slammed. You died here. Willow dies here trying to run away. And I think the only one who survives here is your Staff of Life. Problem is, Staff of Life, you have to be close to your allies to heal, which means that they have to now try and fight their way back over here. Okay, now Willow does not die, actually. And you guys pop Hyper Laser, but still, you ended up giving away about 3 kills. Oh, it is 1 kill. difference. Oh, it's a stalemate. Okay. Yeah. So you would not have won this game without the hyper laser. Actually, you were 2 kills off, and the hyper laser the only way you won. So I suppose I'm going to add this to the list. When playing as tank, playmaking is vital. However, playmaking around your team's, like, around what your team can realistically do is more important. So, you jumping in there was a decent idea, actually, or like, it was a decent idea with a, like, if you were playing on the enemy team with the shotgun and the auto pistol, it would have been pretty good because they could have helped you secure kills and everything. But with this team, it's just not a good idea, and what it did is that it caused a series of events that eventually ended up getting the rest of your team killed, and left this game in a stalemate instead of what would have been a... Actually, how many kills up were you guys? Okay, you were 1 kill away, but you definitely had the pressure to be able to just save up for a hyper laser gun, and then just get like a nice triple collateral here, or maybe not, but like get 3 kills and then you clear easily instead of having it run to a stalemate because you had to jump in. So yeah, for example, here's something else you could have done. We're going to rewind here. So let's say you're right here, the Vesti is dead, you have 1 person diving in, you have 1 person backing up. You've got a couple options. Number 1, just hold it here, like just hold this location and everything. 9th is going to try and take down. Okay, so option 1, you just hold this here. 9th is probably going to either try and take down or successfully take down the tank. Willow is going to also go for them. That's 1 kill you get, and then this backline person is probably going to pressure your support, but you've got face circle, so you're fine. So it would have been a probably net neutral here. Once the ET Death spawns in, ideally they spawn in like over here-ish, or like on top of the castle here, so they can just snipe down the burst rifle and the support back here. That's option 1. Option 2, you drop your barrier shield and you ping like you let your allies know, and all of you run in here to chase down the tank. You get the kill on the tank, you get the kill on this person trying to run away. Yes, this gives chance for the enemies to run in, but then that would actually be a good chance. That once the enemies have like successfully moved up, that would be a really good time to jump in, because yet again, the enemy has midline weapons, and when midline weapons are put into frontline situations, they struggle immensely. Which means that you would suddenly have a burst rifle that's getting slammed on with a generals and ET Death shooting them, and a laser scythe about to M2 onto them, which is guaranteed death. You could have also done is, if you don't want to chase down the tank, you could have backed up down here and everything and forced them to jump off the cliff. You could have done something really sneaky where you have like Willow hide behind these trees and just jump out and ambush people. But even if you don't do that, this is still a generally better position for your team, because they can play down here. They are more exposed, but you're forcing the auto pistol and the shotgun to get close to you, which you can take advantage of. You can slam them to prevent them from taking out your supports. Your mid-range weapons can shoot them as they approach you, which is ideal. It's what you want. And because of barrier shield, and because of the way that because of the fact that the enemy only really has this tiny stretch of land right here to be able to successfully shoot you, otherwise they have to jump down. You're actually minimizing the amount of damage you take from the enemy players. So you're doing well as a tank, but you need to really keep in mind, what can my team, like, how far can I, like, how do I phrase this in a simple way? Like, what can my team do? How far can that go? How do I play around that? And you're not trying to overtax what your team can do. And then, yeah. It is a stalemate, and I do not think anyone gets the kills, actually. Which means that it looks like it's going to be a rematch. It's either going to be a rematch, or it is going to be they're running it back on the same map. Okay. Okay, let's see. So, we have Cammy in the train. And then now we have everybody else here. Okay, so the same thing happens again. Both of you try to land on a castle. Why are you spawning in on the castle? Yet again, you have a mid-range focused team or mid-line focused team. You should not be spawning in. Like, first off, castle is not really a good location for you. Like, I mean, it is, it's high ground and everything, but you'd get much more value out of the like ridges and escape options here. But then, like, if you know that there's a good chance the enemy is going to spawn here, what? Like, it's not throwing, but you're just making really, really not good decisions. Okay, hold on. I think they've changed up the team comps a bit. Okay, so let's see. So we still have X is still on Hammer here. I really hope X is the one I'm supposed to be reviewing. If it's not, I feel kind of bad. Okay, hold on. So they have Staff of Life. They have so Blue still has Staff of Life. All of that. Vezi, I suspect, is still on ET Death. Willow went Skateboard instead of Laser Scythe, which is interesting. They do manage to secure a kill here. I think you managed to pull this. Yeah, they're still running ET Death. I think the main reason you managed to survive this is because it's the very start of a match, which means it's like an absolute mess. But yeah, no. As you can see, the entire team dies here because, yet again, your team is not built for situations like this. You're actively hindering yourself when you and your team plays like this. Okay. So. Ninth, fighting for his life here, dies. Staff of Life tries to get away. Everybody else spawns in here. No, this is bad. This is really, really bad. You're just asking to die here. Oh no, Willow actually manages to get one. Good job, Willow. But, as the John Remix person up in the corner is saying, team wipe, but for what purpose? And that is exactly what this is that, like, Ninth is pretty much guaranteed to die here. The support can maybe get away, depends on the mobility options they have here. Ninth can also get away if he just bails from the fight and runs off into the tree line over to his right. He's not going to do that. He's an aggressive player from what I've seen and from what I know, so he's not going to do that. But none of Blue Team needed to spawn here. Absolutely not. There is, like, the only point of you spawning here is if you want to either gamble because you like playing the lottery, or if you want to give the enemy team a free extra 4 kills because, yet again, none of the people on your team have weapons that work well in close quarter situations against multiple targets. You do not have a paint bucket, you do not have an explosive weapon, you do not have EQ or katana or blinked even. You do not have a shotgun, you do not have a Super Bowl, you do not have an 8-bit blaster, you do not have a slingshot, any variant of slingshot actually. You do not have a Stellar Tune, maybe not Stellar Tune, but yeah, Stellar Tune. You do not have a Codex, you do not have any of these weapons. All these are weapons that, yeah, okay, that would make sense if you kind of rushed in here because they work well and they'll help you in this kind of like close quarters fight. But none of the weapons on your team are designed to do that. And so what happens here is if Vesti gets caught out, all of you take a ton of damage, and the Staff of Life can only kill one target at a time, so they get gunned down. You die, and then Willow somehow manages to get a kill. I think so far Willow has actually been the MVP, minus the funny meme break that they took earlier, which was admittedly throwing because I think they could have actually secured their team the win by like 1 or 2 kills, or yeah. Okay, this is good. This is what you should have been doing all of this time. Like, seriously, why were you not doing this earlier? Now, okay, this makes sense. You have the front line pressure here, distracting everything. Willow is coming from behind, is setting up an ambush, and so they run over and everything. They go for a kill here. They can't really do much on it. Bad coordination, I suspect, but they get caught out. Okay, how did everybody die? What am I know I'm getting a lot more vocal here, and like a lot more, yeah. But like, what happens here? Okay, so you run up, so X runs up, and so does Ninth, and so does everybody else here. Ninth, okay, Ninth is playing too close, much too close. So ninth, yeah, ninth dies from his own hubris is a good way to put it. Actually, if he didn't die, the person that the shotgun would be dead right now. Willow gets cut down trying to go for kill. ET death and the Staff of Life are flanking here. This is actually pretty good. And then you have Vezi, who is alive again, is trying to scare kill. Ninth dies again. Staff of Life is caught out. Let's see. Vezi is caught out in the open here. And, okay, you might just have to swap team comp, I'm going to be honest, because, this is not working at all. Ninth dies. Willow tries to get a kill, dies again. Yeah, okay, so this is where, this is when X goes, Fist and dies again. Okay, blue team is just kind of falling over. Okay. Manage to get a kill, they pop and remote airstrike, it gets a lot of damage. They manage to get 2 kills, 3 kills. Good, okay, this is good. They're separating all of Red's targets, or all of the members of Red, and they're picking them off one by one, and they're taking advantage of the, that. Hyper Laser comes out, gets 2, 3, because it's Hyper Laser. Fun. Willow and Vesti are doing alright here. Vesti getting in much, much too close. X is trying to do something here. Oh no, he's chasing down a couple of people. Okay, this is good. So the team has blue team has adapted, and they've gone with weapons that are that make a bit more sense. Notably, Willow has gone back to Laser Scythe. I agree with this decision. I think that because of the fights that your team takes, you really need to sustain. You need sustain more than you need healing. Speaking of healing, their healer has gone. We will see them spawn in a minute. The support on blue has gone Atmos. Like I said, they should about 40 minutes ago. Wow, I have been recording for a while. Which is a good decision, not only because of the long sidelines, but because of, yet again, mid-range, or like midline nature of this team. Fist, I mean, is decent. Battering ram mainly to chase people down. But yeah, they managed to 9th, as you can see here. This is good. Ish. Vezi was playing not great here, but you run up here. You're separating people. Willow managed to get a kill, which means that the tank is distracted and trying to kill you, which means 9th can back up and secure a kill on them, and so can the Atmo Blaster. X runs for a kill here, and this guy is dead. Yeah, this guy's dead. And as you can see here, this is very clever foreshadowing on my end, because trust me, I've never seen this before. Their support is able to charge up an M2, and boom, suddenly their ET Death gets a huge burst of health. Now, they don't need it necessarily, but had they just been suddenly jumped by shotgun, they would have not died. Actually, no, that does help, because now that they're full health, they're able to run up here to this roof and start aggressing from above. And they're actually even more so because they pop Hyper Laser. Okay, yeah, and they get 2 already. I think they're gonna get 2. And they do lose a couple, but still, this was decent. This is pretty good. This is much better team comp. Yeah, no, you were just caught out here. 9th is getting shot in the back, dies, as does the Atmos, and yeah, oy, rough match. Okay, I mean, most of this is just what I was talking about before. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. It's pretty much, I suppose this is for the full team. It's just that, like, if your team has specific areas that they excel in, force the enemy to put themselves in those, or put yourself, or your team and those enemies in said specific areas. Yet again, this is the entire thing I've been talking about. If your team specializes at very strong mid-range pressure with a solid self-sustaining flanker and some healing, I still think swapping to Atmos was the better choice. But let's say they had Atmos instead of Soul for the whole round. Then you should be leveraging that. You should not be running in as a full team. You should always be trying to build distance. You might even need to swap weapons. Swapping Battering Ram is a decent idea. What other tank weapon could you have gone? You could have gone Catapult, actually. Catapults would have been really good here, or Stormveil. Catapult mainly to shut down any flankers, or any close range pressure, because it just stuns them, and it gives the ET Death as well as the generals basically just like a full second of free shooting and free headshots, which is they are both both weapons that benefit highly from being able to A, hit the target, and B, land free headshots. So there's that. As well as the decisions you make, the way you play, specifically for ninth and for Vizzy, if you guys ever end up watching this video. What the hell are you doing? Like, I know you need to get kills and everything, but there were several times where you ran in to a full team, to the enemy team. They were all full health. They were all looking at you with the generals and an ET Death. You were literally just asking to die, make your team have less resources, and give the other team another point on the kill record. That's all you were doing by doing that. Yet again, it's the same thing as when Ninth ran into the building with PBG. It's very unlikely you get a kill, and even if you do get a kill, you're just it's going to hurt your team in the long run because you're draining resources. You're draining far more resources than you should by trying to go for that kill. Anyways, okay, let's see. I'm going to there is one last game, I believe, and then I'm going to kind of wrap up my thoughts on this because I've been talking for a long time. Alrighty, I've located the game, and because I did not realize just how long I've been talking, I am going to, this is going to be the last one of the 3 matches I'm going to review. I know there's a 4th game, but I'm not going to review it now. If you want me to review it, let me know and I can, but yeah. For simplicity and for the viewer's sake, I'm going to just cut it off here. I'm also going to try to not ramble as much, because I know that gets to be, like, I've been talking for an hour plus now, so. Okay. So, they are doing TDM on Creed Town, which is, if Blue knows what they're doing and they play well, this favors Blue because of the team composition they have. Creed Town is excellent for mid-range weapons, such as Burst Rifle, Tommy Gun, PBG. ET Death slightly less because all of the buildings get in the way of your portal, of your portal, stuff like that. It also pairs well with shotgun and katana and a lot of other weapons that ninth, buddy, what are you doing? Like, there might have been an accident. They might have just been confused as to where they should spawn. No, hold on, I think Blue might be intentionally throwing. Maybe. We'll see. So they have Jetpack Minigun. We have Vezi spawning in behind the enemies. We have XX, who's running Assassin's Gambit Fists. Their Froby, which is their support, I've just realized that's how you spell their name, is running Staff of Life again. And Willow is Willow is yet again the only person who survives that, and then Ninth who got in late. Okay, so 4 kills to 0, and most of Red has a good boost to their remix charge. Okay. Alrighty. This is actually pretty good from X. It's not great because, it's questionable. He does leave his team with, or I hope it's a he. They do leave their team without a tank, which is not great. But it looks like he's going for a very like assassin, like kind of like flanker fist idea, which is quite solid. So yeah, pretty good. And it seems to be working. It looks like he's distracted the enemy team long. Is that Shrub? Has Shrub been in this lobby the whole time? It is. Okay, well then. Okay. Alright, so it looks like Blue's actually having a bit more success with this, and, yeah, not bad. Okay. Oh, they split up Red. This is the most effective tactic they've had so far to deal with Red, and it's been working. So, as you can see here, Shrub tries to go for the kill here, against, Vizzy, gets juked by the portals. As you can see, the rest of, Blue here is, the Fist is going for people, as is Willow. They're taking advantage of the healing from the M2, to either, like, as mobility and as healing. Very good, like, accolades to Vezi for standing up there. Very good spot. It does leave them a bit exposed, but this is good. They're taking high ground. They're making themselves a hard target to hit, and B, a hard target to get to, which is the advantage of this map. Please tell me I did not network error again. No, it's just it is Twitch being Twitch. Okay, apologies. Okay, where was I? I was here. This is pretty good. Blue is actually doing a lot better this round. Kind of. They're still getting rolled at times, but yeah, there's they still have a similar team comp as before, but they're taking advantage of their ability to split up Red to hunt down those kills. It's kind of falling apart here, actually. Hold on. Okay, so it kind of works if they're all very coordinated, but the rest of the time they just kind of die. Okay. X is backing up, very smart. At half health, you're not killing anybody unless you send them into the ocean, and even then you're asking for yourself to die. Willow almost gets a kill there. Right, this is going to be a rough match, isn't it? They started doing well, but, oh, hold on. X gets 2. What happened here? X running across the rooftops, lands in. Oh. Let me guess, Vizzy is on our left here. We can't see it because of the cameraman's angle, but they've been chipping down the enemies, which is how X manages to get the kills here. Yep, as you can see, they portal over from the left, and now Vizzy's going for their backline, which is smart. Yes, this is good. This is a good improvement. And then Willow pops a golden knife, and they get 2 plus a third with fists. Okay, this is pretty good. Blue has found a technique that at least works better than what they had before. Yes, okay. This is good. No, actually, hold on. They found the strategy here. This is the comeback season. Okay, hold on. So. Okay, so as you can see here, Red actually has a pretty good position here and everything. However, Willow dashes up, gets a kill and everything, and then jumps off, as does the support, and then jumps across to help the fists. Which means that this person has to jump down, this person has to focus here, and they're being shot at by their left, and then you have the fists and healer down, or fists and support down here. Support pops Faye to not die, I suspect, and then you have Willow cleaning everybody up, and because Red wasn't able to stick together and coordinate, each person had to deal with multiple targets all at once. They all died. Okay, this is good. Oh, hold on. Who'd Ninth get a kill on here? Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. I think Ninth got, like, a... Hold on. What happens here? Because he just, like, kind of deletes somebody out of the sky. So Atmos goes for flight. Oh, I see. They get chipped, and then they get... I see. Vizzy and Ninth comboed them. Hot tip for the Atmos player. So Duckfish Duck. First off, if you want coaching lessons on how to be better at Atmos, let me know. Or if you want me to review your gameplay, I can also do that, kind of how I've been doing here. If you have any long-range type weapons, or like basically, if you have any high-damage hit scan, which is pretty much every single hit scan that isn't pistol, don't run air stall Atmos. You are just asking to die. Instead, just run like normal Atmos. It's like Atmos plus mobility and healing option, or like slippery Atmos, which is like Atmos with like high climb and like trowel for wall hops and stuff. Actually, hold on. I was monologuing. I didn't see what happened. Okay. Blue managed to get a kill. Hyper laser. They got a combo on the fists and the... Okay, that's... Okay, this is good. Vizzy's backing up, and they're getting away because both of the frontline players for Blue have died. This is very good. This is we're seeing character growth from the people. They're still exposed here. Yeah, I don't think they saw the shotgun moving in on them. Aerial support, definitely interesting. I'm sorry. The minigun just Marble Madness jetpacked into the helicopter to try and take it out, and then just died. Okay. Very funny meme, not actually the best use. I think normal just using the minigun would have killed it faster. But also for the John Remix, which is their tank, this was actually even worse of an idea than it might seem. Aside from being a meme, it also left the entirety of his team exposed, which is why, okay. They managed to get at least a couple of kills. Come on. Ninth, please. No. Okay, yeah, no. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, John Remix is kind of dead. Yeah. Whoops. Okay, this isn't bad. Yeah, yeah, they're managing to separate people, and, okay. This is a very close match. I think it's in Blue's favor, depending on how they use their ultimates, and if Red manages to adapt at all in the future. Grappling hook on Staff of Life is actually not bad, which actually this does help with the issue I talked about before of having to micromanage multiple people as once. It helps with having to chase down those various targets, since you can get around very, very quickly with grappling hook. Vizzy, very good position. Roofs for cover and multiple escape options. Ninth, just kind of chipping away, and because it seems like most of the minigun as well as most of the DPS options here on Red are focused on their mid-range pressure options. Look what happens when X, alongside Willow, run into their backline. Boom! Willow gets a kill alongside ET Death. We see X here pulls away the shotgun. Willow, I think, misses their M2, which is unfortunate. But we can see that they've separated Red here, which means that, Fist manages to get a kill, almost escapes, but not quite. Okay. Well, they kind of fell apart, but they are definitely really close. This is much better showing than what we saw previously. Oh, I think Willow popped knife. It looks like it, yeah. And then they, yeah, okay, so Red responds to the golden knife with a hyper laser, which seems to get one. Not really the best hyper laser, I'm gonna be honest. As you can see, yeah, Red is taking, or like, Blue is forcing 1v1s from the enemy team, and it's in their favor because their weapons are better for 1v1s, mostly. Unfortunately, I think Red, yeah, this is kind of back to what was happening earlier, where it's just a lot of trading. It's mostly trading here, but I think Blue does actually manage to take the win here. It looks really close. Either they manage to get like a 10-person kill streak with an ultimate here, or yeah, I think Red just gonna fall apart here. Oh yeah, especially, yeah. Hila goes down. They pop face circle, which means that very unlikely anybody on Blue is dying. Especially not the support. Slingshot gets killed. Their melee gets killed. Yeah, this is game over for Red. Alrighty, so good job for Blue. I'm glad to see that they actually started taking advantage of the way that their team was built later on. They didn't do it 100%. Obviously, it's difficult to do that, especially if you've just spent 3 rounds beforehand of like not doing it. It's hard to just do a complete 180. But there was definitely an improvement here. It was once they started separating targets, so they used Ninth and Vizzy to basically be distractions and to get chip damage on a lot of Red team, and then you had Willow, as long as their tank X dive in to secure the kills as well as separate people. The Ninth and Vizzy were able to follow up then, mainly through Vizzy's portal, and then get the kills, which means that they could guarantee that they separate the entire team. And yet again, Red has Red's team comp is less powerful in direct 1v1s, which is, I suspect, why Blue managed to win that. And seeing as, so this match is currently in, I believe I Hate iDog. I believe it's in their favor. Yes, it is. It's in their favor, and since there's only one more game that plays, it looks like I Hate iDog wins in the last match. Let's see. Something happens here. But hold on, it's skimming too fast. Okay, yeah, no. I Hate iDog takes the win. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up for this review. Alrighty, so main things to take away from this episode is that team comp is very important, especially in regards to support. If you have a support like Staff of Life, it really works best when you have a independent weapons that have either like they're built-in healing, built-in escape, or built-in defensive options. Defensive options being like something to push enemies away, something to reduce incoming damage, stuff like that. So, like for example, Link Sword's parry would technically be considered a defensive option because it reduces the amount of damage or it negates the damage you take. Second one, Atmos as alongside mid-range. Weapons benefit from high ground and isolate positions. Also, if you are playing a mid-range weapon, you should generally, unless you're trying to secure a kill or your team really needs to be on point and everything, generally you want to be like at a spot where mid-range benefits. Running in when you're playing generals or ET death or something like that, it's just a guaranteed death, and it also means that there's a lower chance that your team is going to win the team fight, the following team fight. Specifically, when you're playing as a tank, playmaking is important, but playmaking needs to be kept inside the limits of what your team can accomplish. If you try to do a full dive and you have like only long range weapons, it's gonna be terrible. Meanwhile, if you try to do like a long range poke and you have 4 melees, you have like 3 melees, so you have like you have your tank, you have 3 melees, and then you have a stellar tune. Yeah, you're not getting much done. So recognize what your team does and how far you can play make with that, and be careful to not overdo it. And the last one, which kind of the theme of this episode or this review, is that if your team has a specific area they excel in, for example, I Hate iDog was specialized and excelled at mid-range damage pressure, and then having Willow they excelled at mid-range damage pressure, and then strong strong independent melee to secure the kills and to set up flanks to either capitalize on the chip damage from the mid-range or to just set up kills for the mid-range and everything. And once I Hate iDog was actually able to recognize that and leverage that, which is what they did in the previous game, not the one that's currently on screen, the other one on the what map was it? It was Creedtown. On Creedtown, once they started doing that, and so they used their mid-range weapon to get damage on the enemy and to distract them and everything, it gave their melee a chance to sneak in and just separate the enemy team. And once they got separated, they were able to use the mobility of their weapons as well as just the high damage output and each individual weapon's potential in a 1v1 to secure the kills. However, when they tried to do run in all as a team, they died. When they tried to do most ambushes, they died. When they tried to just out damage them or out heal them, they died. And this is because none of their weapons are suited for that. Anyways, thank you all for watching this review. I was glad to do this. If you want to have your Project Remix gameplay reviewed to get better at the game, let me know down below in the comments, or you can join my Discord server and find me there to submit your gameplay. As always, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video and the new avatar. Ciao!